It's August 2nd. I'm sorry, been away for a while, taking care of business. Hey, my hair looks great. I'm just now looking at it. It's good to have some. Using a new microphone, let me know what you think. This is gain and pattern, so we'll all see together. This is for a friend of mine named Laura. She's up in Jacksonville. She's a nurse. She asked about this, and now I looked it up and I found out some information. So if you want to know anything about knock on wood, come back. I'm CW. The Hall Books. It's an interesting concept to protect your own luck or stash or fortune. If we go back in time, when a period we were a society, and as a society, we were closer to nature, by that meaning spending a lot of time outside, regardless of the elements, like druids and pagans, which is not a current motorcycle gang dressed in leather, but groups of people in Europe and the British Islands, very close to trees. In fact, trees in general were worshipped by our predecessors. When a tree was seen being struck by lightning, it was considered holy, that a spirit had entered it through that action of the lightning striking it. These people would start identifying certain trees to have a home or a certain place special for deities. The mighty oak, who can forget that one, was thought to be the home of the gods of thunder and lightning. And so to touch it, or it would allow the person to absorb some of its energy or power. Also, remember that it was an oak tree that was struck by lightning in northern Florida that was whittled on down to a three-legged chair called Old Sparky, the electric chair. But I digress. But that's what happens to history people. They fade away. Later in time, when people started living in groups and in structures like huts, and if they had good luck or fortune, like they wanted to protect their current status against spirits around them in the world, they would often were afraid to mention their good fortune or their good luck, or the spirits would grow jealous and take revenge upon them. So to speak to other people about how lucky you were, or if you were grateful for having a male child being born to you, or you had a good day of hunting where you met up with a lot of meat and fur, you would strike your walls, wood walls, while saying that, and hoping to cover up your conversation, drown it out so the surrounding spirits wouldn't be able to hear you, strange as it may be. Once man became more involved with like organized religion, namely the Roman Catholic Church, they would use the building as kind of like a sanctuary. And most of the time, the doors of the building were made of wood. So it's thought that as soon as you touched the wood, if you were being pursued by anybody, if you're being pursued by the sheriff or a prosecutor or an unholy spirit, in order to protect yourself or seek sanctuary, you had to be inside a church, which was sacred or holy ground. It is thought that now you are under the protection of the church as well as the cross. For a human to continue pursuing you or prosecuting you from this element would be considered sacrilege, knock wood. So, moving to today, we see some people are very superstitious when it comes to talking about good fortune or happiness or having their faith change or anything like that. So, when they speak about good luck in life or wishing for the best outcome of an event, it is accompanied by striking a piece of wood. It doesn't matter where the wood is, just like the hut dwellers, if it's part of your home or the walls or the clinic of a hospital, it doesn't matter. People deep down do not want to change fate and they don't want to challenge it. So knocking wood is a precautionary measure to keep on guard against the spirits of evil or just bad luck. If you ask people, where does this lead to you about your superstition? Most people still today have the same answer that to strike a piece of wood, in effect, is to protect yourself from certain fate. It's in hope, the same as crossing yourself as if you were in church. Touching wood is thought to be an act of being in contact with the cross of Christ that was used in his crucifixion. Crucifixion. I'm not sure how Christ would feel about that. That's the way it goes. Follow up. What did his mother call him? So, page 2. I'm sorry. I know I do that a lot, but no, it's some friggin' trait. What would the Holy Mother call Jesus? I got several ideas. None of them were Jesus. Jesus is a Aramaic name. He was Hebrew. He was born in Galilee, which is basically a small town next to the Sea of Galilee. In Florida, we'd compare it to Lake Apopka. It's that big or small. So the letter J didn't exist to begin with. So his Hebrew name was probably Yeshua, um, Yahoshua. All comes down to Joshua. In Aramaic, he was probably called Isho or Yeshu at home. I can hear the complaints now. You have no business teaching this. Well, I don't care. I was raised in a Christian home and we said Jesus. That was but Christ is okay with it. Trust me. And where did I go? Okay, moving on. Um, when the Gospels, were translated, they were, I think, initially from Hebrew to Greek, and a lot of things happen. Yeshua becomes Ios, with an Iesous, and then that's translated when the Greeks get it, and they render it into Latin, which helps only Latins and Parmesis all over the world. But that's our roots, Greek and Latin. So there's no letter J. In fact, there's no Julius Caesar. His first name was Ilias. I. Yeah, the Italians basically still have no words with the letter J or the letter J as far as that goes. So the letter J wasn't really common until about the 17th century. Uh, it was kind of used in place of an I as a consonant, pronounced Y like rest. I don't even know how that would be. Would you be just? So, and the letter J wasn't used in English until 17th century, 16th. Oh, Shakespeare, 1630. So Shakespeare never used it either. He wrote Romeo and Juliet. IU. IU. It was all bad. Old English. DJ. So you got Julius Caesar with no J. And Old English DJ sound was like hedge with a J. Spanish J still had the Y sound. And in French, it's halfway between the two. So in Hebrew, Jesus' father's name was Yosha, Joseph, but not Joseph. And Jesus would have been Yeshua or Ben Yeshua ben Yosha, son of Joseph, but he's not Joseph. You can just go on and on and on, but this is the way things play out through history. The Hebrews write it without a J because they don't have one. The Greeks don't have one. They transfer it to Latin. The Latins, they don't have one until like much, much later. So Jesus, Aramaic, is basically for the benefit of you and me. but don't be offended. Jesus wouldn't. He knows who you're talking to. Page 3. Flip over on the back page. Cleopatra the Seventh, not black. Hell, she wasn't even Egyptian. She was Greek or Macedonian or both, and part Iranian. So you got that going for you. It's not always as it seems. You may want to popularize history, but let's try to keep it the same because, man, it's already happened. Page 2 on this. Click. The Bard, William Shakespeare, um, among other things, was a wordsmith. And when he didn't have something available to him, well, what the hell? I'll just make it up. A number of English words were contrived by the bard. I'll give you a few examples. Ariel, arch villain, amazement, bedazzle, barefaced, birthplace, blood sucking, cold blooded, like blood a lot, denote, downstairs, educate, eventful, fairyland, foul mouth, go between, hostile, hurry, Hurry, no. Lasp, love letter, majestic, negotiate, pander, remorseful, and retirement. Thank you, Shakespeare. I shall do just that. Good night. If you like what I like, if you like what I like, if you like what I've gone over, I'm sorry. This is kind of a short one, but that's the way I like it sometimes. Um, and I'm not going to do any graphic or any creative editing. This is just going to be a straight piece. I just don't have the time right now for this, but I did want to get something up because it's been a couple of days. Like I said, I've had some personal issues I had to take care of. So, love to have your subscription. Love to have your comments even more. Any complaints, even. I like to know what you think about the microphone. So, click, like, subscribe, please, or just comment. See you next time.